What's up, guys? It's your boy Santos Destroyer, and I'm back at you guys with another What If. What if Naruto and Gaara were Blood Brothers Part 4, I believe? So, a brief recap. Last time we checked out, we were just got back from rest to find the search for Tsunade, and we are on the Sasuke retrieval arc right now. So, basically, everything goes the same way it does in canon. Because I'd assume Sakura and Sasuke would still, Sakura would still have that same thing with Sasuke and would still react the same, even though they aren't teammates in this continuity. So Sasuke would go to Orochimaru even more likely than this than in the normal canon because he sees Gaara and Naruto as people he has to overcome in order to kill Itachi. So he gathers his things, Sakura sees him and begs Gaara and Naruto to bring him back. And then Shikamaru is still, just like in canon, the only Chunin. He creates a team, but it's a much stronger team than in canon, which includes Choji, Neji, Brock Lee, because he never sustained the injuries because his opponent was different, Naruto, Gaara, Kiba, Shino, and then himself. I believe that even though this team as a whole would easily be able to foderize and body Jirobo, I still think they'd do that split one-on-one thing so the rest could catch up. So Choji still fights Jirobo, defeats him like in canon. I feel like Neji and Shino would take on Kidomaru, which it would be interesting because it did have their dynamic as Neji defeated Shino in the exams, but they're so reliant on each other because they literally make up for what they lack. Like Shino lacks close range, while Neji lacks long range effective weaponry. So I do believe this fight is over much sooner, as Kidomaru would have to push himself way more to not only worry about Neji getting in close, but Shino attacking his insects from afar. So yeah, since Neji is never left on death's door, I believe they could go and just help out people before even the Sand Ninja even arrive. So Kiba would fight Sakon and Ukon alone, which would go same until the Sand Ninja, until Kankuro arrives to bail him out. Same with Shikamaru. So the battle against Kimimaro would be very, very different. It'd be a fully healthy Rock Lee, plus this canon's Gaara, which is an Iron Sand user, against Kimimaro. So therefore now Naruto would run directly after Sasuke rather than having to be stalled for a little bit. So this makes a change in canon. I think a fourth gate Lee, just being safe, a fourth gate Lee in Iron Sand using Gaara would be able to push back Kimimaro until he goes his full curse mark, because I think he'd be forced to use it a lot earlier. He had to. Maybe Lee uses fifth gate and Gaara just amps up pours more chakra into his Iron Sand, increases the power and the scale. I think Kimimaro has the durability to survive the primary, the Hidden Lotus, not the primary. He can survive the primary, but the Hidden Lotus, I think he has the durability to survive that. So let's just assume that he does survive it. And then Denga of the Desert arrives, and I just see, since Lee, let's just say that Lee is just out, down for the count after the Hidden Lotus or something against Kimimaro, and Kimimaro still survives. So let's just say that Gaara and Denga have this this extremely just awesome moment where they just combine Iron Sand and just bury Kimimaro under just miles and miles, around like 5 miles of pressurized combined sand and Iron Sand. And then they just bury it, crush him under that. And I think an Iron Sand and Sand combined sealing burial would be enough to put Kimimaro out. So now we head to the Valley of the End fight scene, Naruto versus Sasuke, the classic. I still think Sasuke would still win at the end of the day, but he's much, much more beat up when he reaches Orochimaru, because this fight was much closer, as Naruto had not only Sasuke to chase after, but his his brother as well, his twin brother. So now Jiraiya just talks with just has the talk with Naruto and Gaara, and they prepare to leave for the training trip for the Akatsuki saga and all of that. So Tsunade, Gaara. So Tsunade made Gaara and Shino tuning as their skills were on display both during the tuning exams and the Sasuke retrieval mission. So that happens, and now for the time skip. So this is what I just interpreted. I personally have no problem with sending Gaara Uzumaki to Mount Myoboku because he doesn't have a Nine Tails, and he's skill wise he's much more skilled than Naruto. And I also believe he'd also learn how to better access his chakra chains, not spam them, but not to the point that he has to be in like a dire need for him to be able to use them. So it'd be Naruto and Jiraiya, but now I believe Naruto would be even more incentivized to train because he has a brother who's like pushing him. So I just think Naruto would gain a better mastery over the QB. Nothing great, but he got better gains in this what if than what he did in the canon. Naruto doesn't have Sage Mode because he has the QB. But let's just look at the stats. Naruto has massive boost in... He has boost in hand seals, intelligence, genjutsu, and strength. Whereas Gaara right now in this new canon is basically Jonin level because he's just so overpowered in with the Sage Mode stacked on top of it. Just makes him just dangerous. Just absolutely a monster to mess with. So now we break into the abilities after the time skip. Naruto's abilities. Shadow Clones, Taijutsu, Shadow Clone strategies. 9 Tails Chakra, he can safely access up to 3 tails at once. Rasengan / Big Ball Rasengan. Now for Gaara Uzumaki's abilities, he has Iron Sand, Chakra Chain, Taijutsu, Shadow Clones, Rasengan / Lightning Rasengan / Wind Style Rasengan. I did hint in the last part that he was going to work on it, and he's also a perfect sage, and he can enter it pretty quickly, just like Minato could and Hashirama. So now in this continuity, I still believe that Sakura would go on to become a medical ninja because it was stated in the manga the only reason why she wanted to become one was because she saw how damaged and like beat up Sasuke made Naruto, and it really like motivated her. And now we head into the Kazekage rescue mission, which is Denga. So Kazekage gets kidnapped. Same teams from Konohara are dispatched. I believe Sakura would go because she is a medic, and medics are extremely important. Everything goes the same as in canon until Sasori and Deidara split apart. So I was really debating on what to go with here. Either Gaara would go with Sakura and Chio. That would just make their fight against Sasori much easier. Or Gaara could go with Naruto and Kakashi. I decided to follow the latter route as it just seems more likely as Sakura and Chio were able to take out Sasori in canon. And this just puts Deidara in a really bad situation because this puts Deidara in a situation he can't possibly win. Like, his arm is crushed. At some point during that fight, Kakashi would commonly snipe his other arm off. So Deidara is basically armless at this point. He has a crushed right arm, and his left arm is gone. So he has literally no hope of winning. So between Sage Mode Gaara, a bloodlusted Naruto, and then Kakashi, and then eventually with a backup of Guy, Neji, Rock Lee, and Tenten, Gaara's gonna die. So rather than the Akatsuki being down 1 member, they're gonna be down 2 already. So just going back to the fight with Sasori would still spill the information about the Tenuchi Bridge. Kashi overuses his Sharingan, which eventually leads to Yamato becoming the team leader. And now for the Tenuchi Bridge reconnaissance mission, you have the Orochimaru encounter, which is, I believe, would change a lot of things. And then you'd have Sai there just for support. I mean, you could make the case that Sakura would be there because she's a medic and all, but Sai's there just for support as well. So Kabuto, they everything goes the same in canon until Sasuke is mentioned and when Naruto basically snaps and goes berserk. So that still happens. I just think that that Gar would just I don't know if Gar would be in shock, but like he would be. I would say he'd be paralyzed due to just malevolent nature of the Kyuubi's chakra. So he just basically so Naruto just literally just kind of bodies Orochimaru a little bit, and then Naruto just goes crazy. And Gar prepares to like attack his brother until Yamato just calms him down with the reversion to human form. So Sakura, I said, would be on site because she's a medic, and any situation needs a medic because you can't put some fodder medic out here because it just doesn't make sense for the story. So I had to put Sakura on here. So then now that Sai talks to Orochimaru like in canon, they basically everything happens the same as in canon, except when they meet Sasuke. The team isn't bodied by Sasuke. Naruto can put up a fight against Sasuke, but Sasuke is I'm gonna say out of his league. Just as of right now, Sasuke's out of Naruto's league. Gaara puts up a better fight, which it intrigues Sasuke a lot. And after Sasuke leaves, they just head back to the village, and that's where I'm ending it this time, guys. Next up is the Akatsuki suppression mission, which should be extremely interesting. If you liked it, share, subscribe. I'm a Santos the Destroyer, and I'm out.